We don't talk enough about the role the federal government played in slowing down Black progress. And not just in the South, not just through violence. I'm talking about the post office. One of the only jobs that Black men could get back then with some stability. And when they started moving up, the government came for them on purpose. For a long time, Black men, especially those with military backgrounds, they looked to the U.S. Postal Service for work. The pay was steady, there were civil service protections, and you didn't have to answer to some racist boss on a power trip. It wasn't perfect, but it was one of the only federal doors that wasn't padlocked shut. By the early 1900s, Black postal workers were actually gaining ground, not just as carriers, but as clerks, supervisors, and postmasters even in a few different cities. That scared people, because of course it did. Especially white folks who weren't used to seeing Black men with authority over them. So enter President Woodrow Wilson in 1913. He was Southern-born, proudly segregationist. And what was the first thing that he did? He resegregated the federal government. He gave his Postmaster General, who was Albert Burleson, the green light to quietly push Black supervisors out. They didn't just fire people, they moved them to roles with zero authority. They forced segregated workspaces and post offices. They even installed curtains so their white employees wouldn't have to see their Black coworkers. Wilson served until 1921, but the damage lasted for decades. And yes, Burleson still has streets and buildings named after him. By the 1940s and 50s, things got even more deliberate. The FBI started targeting Black postal workers during the Red Scare. If you were organizing, advocating for fair treatment, or involved in civil rights in any capacity, you were going to be flagged. As a potential communist, J. Edgar Hoover authorized investigations into Black union leaders, especially those who wouldn't stay quiet about discrimination. Some were interrogated, some were demoted, some just lost their jobs outright. This wasn't isolated, this was policy. Being too political as a Black postal worker could literally end your career. But the Black postal workers didn't just take it. They organized, documented firings, and filed complaints. People like John L. LaFleur in Alabama quietly gathered evidence to push the federal government towards accountability. Others leaned on civil rights lawyers like Charles Hamilton Houston because they wanted to force change inside the system. And while they're not mentioned in most textbooks, their work laid the foundation for federal workplace protections, the same ones that we'd fight for decades later. This story didn't start at the post office. It started with Black people trying to survive a system that just kept moving the goalposts. The Postal Service was supposed to be neutral ground. But the second Black men started to rise, it stopped being neutral real fast. This wasn't about delivering mail. It was about who gets to move up, who gets to be seen, and who gets punished for even trying.